This is the True American Podcast. I'm your host. Folks, you know I had to weigh in on this situation where there at the Dirt Bowl played annually at Shawnee Park, West Louisville. There was not too long ago a Mr. H. Lee was approached by officers, LMPD, 3 of them, in a video I saw put up by WHAS 11. And the 3 police officers had their guns drawn, and they asked Mr. Lee to drop his weapon. Mr. Lee refused to do so and even started to run. But before he started to run, Mr. Lee shot and hit a police officer. Now, let me say something here. What part of drop the gun did Mr. Lee fail to understand? What part of drop the gun did Mr. Lee fail to understand? Well, here's what I would say to Mr. Lee. I said, look, here's what you need to say, guy. Here's your argument. Your argument is that, well, they said it to you in English. That's the language of the white supremacists, of the evil white man. You did not appreciate them speaking to you in English. You were triggered by them speaking to you in English. They should have told you in Zulu, drop the gun. Or they should have told you in Tagalog, drop the gun. Or they should have told you in Sutu, drop the gun. Or they should have told you in Swazi, drop the gun. See, but they told you in a white supremacist language, English, drop the gun. So you didn't understand what they're saying. You were triggered. You were traumatized. See, you went back to the slavery times where the white man was beating you. And so when these white dudes pull a gun on you and spoke to you in English, clear English, the white man's racist, colonialist language, man, you just sort of flipped out. You went back to the good old days. You thought you were Nat Turner. They should have said to you in Zulu, drop the gun. But they said it to you in English, the white colonialist language. And that's why you decided to run. You wanted to run to the north. You wanted to run to Cincinnati, and through Cincinnati go up to Canada. You wanted to run for freedom because the white man told you, drop the gun. Drop the gun. I want to say something to the LMPD. I'm a black man. And if you say to me, drop the gun, I hope you clearly hear me now. You say to me, drop the gun. I'm going to drop my gun. I'm going to drop my pants. I'm going to drop my underwear. I'm going to drop my socks. I'm going to drop my jacket. I'm going to drop my sweater. I'm going to drop my glasses. I'm going to drop everything and anything you say in a heartbeat. Because I understand English. I'm not triggered by English. English does not traumatize me. I pretty well understand, particularly when 3 cops have their guns drawn and they say to me, drop the gun. I get that. I'll do that and more and then some. And here's the other part that gets me. It gets me about Mr. Lee. He not only refused to drop the gun, he shoots a police officer, hits the police officer. The bullet hit the police officer. Thank God police officers had protective gear on. And starts to run. Now look, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm black and I'm slow. But I honestly don't think you can make much of an argument that drop the gun in any language means refusing a lawful order, and 2, giving you justification to shoot at a police officer who's armed, and 3, to resist arrest by running. I just don't think out of that one clear, simple, lawful order, drop the gun, you can include in that, oh, well, I'll just shoot this guy and then I'll run. Or I'll run and then shoot this guy. I mean, that's just me. Again, I'm black and I'm slow. You're going to have to explain that one to me. I mean, slowly explain that to me. You hear drop the gun. You're told drop the gun, but what you hear is, no, I'm not going to drop the gun. I'm going to run and I'm going to shoot a police officer. Yeah, that's me. Okay? That's me. Make that argument. I am talking about a video that's posted on YouTube, WHS 11. It was posted on July 14, 2022. The first few, the title starts with Dirt Bowl co-founder. So you go to YouTube, put in there Dirt Bowl co-founder. And you might want to add the date, July 14, 2022. And look at the video yourself and reach your own conclusions. And maybe then, after you've looked at it, you can tell me, Mr. Black and Slow, how someone can get out of that. They could hear, assuming they understand English. I mean, again, maybe these white officers were racist. They were racist. They were targeting this innocent black man. And they knew that if they spoke to him in English, he wouldn't understand it. They knew if he spoke to him in English, he would be triggered. And they knew if he spoke to him in English that he would be traumatized and he'd go back to the days of slavery. They said, no, I'm not gonna surrender to the massa. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna drop the gun. I'm not gonna obey a lawful order. And I'm gonna, hey, shoot the police officer, and then I'm gonna run. Or run and shoot the police officer. I don't know. See what those white officers should have done. They should have talked to him in Tagalog or Zulu or Wolof, Sutu, Twi. And boy, that was just racist on their part to actually say to him in English, clearly and loudly, drop the gun. I mean, they said it. Drop the gun. I mean, that was it. Officers, I want to let y'all know. I would have dropped the gun. I would have dropped the bullets. I would have dropped my pants. I would have dropped my underwear. You would have had stuff all over Shawnee Park. At one point, you guys would say, look, hey, kid, stop. Just stop. We just wanted you to drop the gun. You don't need to throw out your Social Security card or your driver's license or anything like that. Okay, we just wanted you to drop the gun. Lord have mercy. Please pull up your pants, man. Come on now. Because that's exactly what I would have done if I heard that. And if I'd been in that situation, if I'd seen that. When y'all look at that video, you're going to see 3 cops. I counted 3. All of them. Guns drawn. Saying. Well, one of them was saying anyway. I heard one say, drop the gun. Oh, Lord have mercy. I would have turned white. And I would have dropped everything. But here, the Dirt Bowl founder, he was saying, hey, the police officers are not at fault. That was his position. But, of course, the Kentucky Alliance Against Racism and Political Repression, they had some guy stand up at some press conference. And he says something that just made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. You want to talk about mental gymnastics. That brother, I mean, he turned in a gold medal performance. What he said just made it just wasn't logical at all, make no sense whatsoever. You can sit there and talk about center mass all you want and misguided narrative all you want. Hey, the officer was shot. It's clear who shot him. I mean, ballistics will confirm, maybe, then again, maybe I'm wrong, that Mr. Lee shot the man. And it was the bullet from Mr. Lee's gun that shot this police officer. Now, I have to admit, person's innocent till proven guilty. Maybe ballistics will show something else. But let's just make that assumption that Mr. Lee shot the officer. And the officer, He wasn't killed. He wasn't seriously injured. He was able to maintain doing what he's supposed to do, and that's to protect and to serve. That's it. Your argument about center mass and this officer should have had his head blown off or whatever makes no sense whatsoever, because that's not what happened. It didn't happen. I mean, why is it the leftists, the cultural Marxists, the radicals, the anti-American folk always want to deny reality? There's only like two genders. There's only two, male and female. Oh, but that's not true. There's 64. According to Facebook, 64. And it didn't happen. What you said didn't happen. You said, well, it should have happened. Okay, maybe it should have happened, but it didn't happen. And what does that got to do with the price of beef in Botswana? It didn't happen. Period. So what's your point? There's no point. Again, science will verify one way or the other whether or not Mr. Lee used the gun that shot a police officer. I mean, the man has been charged. Lee has been charged with murder or attempted murder of a police officer. Your center mass argument, it ain't flying. That dog ain't hunting. And I sure as heck would not have stood before some cameras and tried to make an argument like that. It's ridiculous. It was insane. And I'm not so mad. I'm not mad about the person who tried to make the argument. I'm mad at the people around him who allowed him to stand up there and say something that daggone ridiculous. Somebody should have been enough of a friend to say, dude, don't go up there and say something that daggone stupid. Don't do that. But it happened. They allow him to do that. Folks, I'm talking about a video. It's WHS video. It's posted on July 14, 2022. You put in the search engine Dirt Bowl co-founder. And this is an important issue. Not just this one particular incident, but this is an important issue where, again, things happen that are clear and obvious. I mean, they become clearer, more obvious upon investigation. And we have the left in this city. I'm not talking about in the state, the region. In this city, right here in Louisville, Kentucky, have some of the most absurd responses imaginable. And then we have other, usually white folk, liberals, leftists, who sort of like align with them and prop them up with their nonsense. Like that idiot who walks into Greenberg's office, broad daylight, and attempted to shoot Mr. Greenberg. Now, I'm not a member of the Democratic Party. I'm not going to vote for Greenberg. But I sure as the devil don't want to see anyone who's running for office, regardless of their political party, shot, killed, murdered. It's ridiculous. You serious? Of course we got to respond to a crime like that. But here's how the black left here in the city of Louisville responded. Oh, Mr. Anti-Gun Violence activist, you get a gun and in broad daylight you attempt to kill somebody because of their political views or whatever. Here's how we're going to respond. We're going to get you bailed out. Just give us a little time. We're going to get you bailed out, and then we're going to start writing, publishing, and then other of us on the left, they're going to like publish these really heart-rending, touching stories about how they would sit down with this anti-gun violence activist, and he was such a thoughtful and interesting dude. He tried to kill somebody. Why are we letting this guy out? I mean, keep him in jail. Let him receive, the mental health, whatever he needs. And what the heck does some story about how he would come into your office and sit down and talk with you has to do with the price of beef in Botswana? It has nothing to do with the issue. He's dangerous. Picked up a gun, walks into an office broad daylight, and shoots at a candidate. Let me tell you something. If that had been a white boy who walked into a black candidate's office and tried to shoot him, we'd never hear the end of it. We'd have another Booker ad talking about lynching and, oh my God, they're oppressing us, and something from this other leftist up there at Kentucky legislature, Attica Scott, talking about a white man and slavery and hunting us down and stuff. Oh, we never hear the end of it. Then all these white folks and these different corporations, they start throwing money at black folk. Oh, we got to give y'all some money. Oh my God, I can't believe this white boy went in there and tried to shoot this black person. Oh my God. Here's the check. Oh, wait a minute, here's another check. Wait a minute, here's my firstborn child. I mean, it's a crime. It's stupid. It's ignorant. Thank God no one got hurt. I'm going to tell you something else, too, though. A lot of people don't want to hear this. But, you know, Greenberg is a Jewish American. I think there's some anti-Semitism going on here. Because there's some petition running around talking about, well, we need a full investigation into that. There's some insinuation that somehow or another there was a collaboration between this black activist, anti-gun black activist, and Greenberg. That somehow or another Greenberg staged wanting to get shot? And are you serious? Do you really think that Black Lives Matter would have brought this guy out of jail so fast? Would have come up and tried to get him out of jail so fast? If Greenberg was a black person? It seems almost as if we got a slightly different standard here. And maybe it's because Greenberg is a Jew. I smell some anti-Semitism here. And I did hear amongst some Jewish folks here in Louisville. So yeah, they were concerned about the possible element of anti-Semitism in that whole particular situation. What's my point? People, whenever the white left, these white liberal radicals, white anti-American folk, these white so-called allies with the Black Lives Matter thing, when they take a position, when they say something, question it. Question it. Question it. I used to be a Marxist myself, and I'm telling you from personal experience, question it. I'm not talking about conspiratorial stuff. I'm talking about people who, from the far left, left-wing extremists, they'll say things, they'll take positions out in public, and no one challenges it. They let them get away with it. Oh, they're black. Can't challenge it, no matter how ridiculous the position is. Oh, wait a minute, he's a black guy. Might be anti-Semitic. Obvious, little off the wall. But we can't question that. He's black. Can't question that. And we don't care enough about anti-Semitism, so no, we can't question that. Somebody stands up there and talks some nonsense about center mass. Okay, no one wants to challenge that. No one wants to call that nonsense for what it is, because the person said he's black. This is the True American Podcast. Hey, check out some of the interviews I've done with some national figures and New York Times best-selling authors on my website, booktalkwithcorbin, CORBIN.com. Check it out.